Hello and welcome back to another episode of serde-yaml. Yes, it's not Google RS this time. We are still in the Google RS world though, but I'm in this first episode about to set up something that will be serde-yaml for the next, maybe 14 days. Depends on how long it takes me to write a whole implementation for a YAML serializer and deserializer. So the root of the problem, just to make it clear here, is that I want to have YAML configuration files for my software in general. So I want it for the Google Service CLIs as well. So whenever something, that's a rule of thumb here, whenever I just write stuff and it's not supposed to be edited by a user, then I write JSON. Or XML, doesn't really matter, but for now JSON is kind of the thing that still reads much better than XML. So JSON it is, and that's what I already use, and serde-JSON does a great job in doing so. However, whenever there are files that are supposed to be edited by users, I prefer YAML, like 10 times over JSON. And so I need YAML support. State of the art in Rust is that there's only lib-YAML, which is depending on the C version of YAML. So lib-YAML basically in Rust is just a wrapper around the C version, which also requires bindings or the existence of that said lib-YAML shared object, which I don't want. I really want to work towards having a chance for statically compiled a standalone Rust binary similar to what the Go world already has. And there has been lots of conversation going on about this topic and people want it too. So it's gonna happen. And unfortunately, it requires that certain things are available in pure Rust. So YAML is needed for pure Rust. And Serd, I think, is a good framework, a suitable framework to add more to it, because they have a quite a generalized non-Rust C version of functions that allow any object to serialize and deserialize itself using some sort of visitor pattern. Delegation is the key here. And I want to use this because that would allow me to have something very similar to what Serd already does for JSON, but for YAML. And while doing this, I can, make sure that certain shortcomings of the existing JSON implementation are not creeping into the YAML implementation. Basically means that I want more options when deserializing things and when serializing things. And I'm going to build this right in, right? That's the thing. That's the idea. Also, today's the day, 15th of May. 15/05/2015. Awesome. It's going to be the day of the release. I checked it, but there is no release up just yet. I hope that later today it will happen. And I will be glad to interrupt all my work and then start recompiling stuff with the latest Rust and make sure that all my tests work. I think that's going to happen today, but let's see when. I'm curious. For now, it's not for us. So this session, by the way, the goal of this session, not only to introduce my new goals or my new series here, but also to show you right from the start how I would approach this. So first of all, there's a ticket in Serd. And as usual, sorry, my sarcasm here, but as usual, I ask Eric, but he seems to kind of not check the internet very much. So usually replies come very late. The last reply came like 3 days later, and that was just, I was pounding him with questions, and that eventually, actually 10 days later, triggered a answer. So there is no answer, and I actually don't want to wait for one because I made my decision anyway, and I want to, for now, try Serd. That should be possible, I think. It's also a big unknown because I don't know Serd very well, and the documentation is so. There's lots of stuff to be wished here, but still, I think I can manage. Also unknown is YAML and how to do that. So there is a big specification that will probably include all the documentation that I ever wanted. So that's going to be my read for the next days as well. Even though I totally consider doing my own thing here, but I at least want to know how they recommend to implement it so that I can figure out what's kind of the Rust way to do it. Also, I don't need all of the YAML stuff, but I want to have, let's say, a 1.2 compliant compiler that at least can read all the things or can handle the specification, even though some things might not be implemented and just fail or ignore things, something like that. So that's the goal here. And it all starts with forking this guy, forking serd. I'll fork it to Byron. It should only take a few seconds. There we go. And that's my own. Awesome. And yeah, I don't need the wiki here, but I need issues, because I'm going to work very similar to how I always work. Basically, I'm going to document everything that I want to do with issues, record this and put it online like I do with Google RS. So it's kind of a sub-series here. Serde-yaml is a new sub-series of Google RS in a way. And right now I don't have anything. So in this session, I think we want to set up the basic infrastructure, basic YAML infrastructure, put all the files there. Assure documentation builds and shows some information about YAML. I also want to have documentation that allows me to keep, or that I want to keep up to date while I'm writing it, right? So I need this to be set up right away. And that's really it. And then I'm going to make the first PR that is going to evolve, So I'm going to put this, and the milestone I want as well, a few milestones. I think 2. First, it's serialization. That should be the first thing I do, because I think that's easier. At least in the first version, that should be rather easy. But it also includes lots of kind of API improvements done to at least serde-yaml, because I want more options. There are many ways to represent a YAML document, and YAML, as you know, can also look like JSON, like totally. And to do that, you need more options. You need to be able to specify that. So in theory, you can use the YAML serializer to serialize a JSON document, which is pretty cool. Awesome. So let's do this. I also need milestones, as I said. Let's set them up right now, at least roughly. Where is it? Issues, milestones, new. It's not gonna have a version number because it's mainly about features here. The version is still specified by the parent project, and I'm not going to release anything on crates.io until this is merged to the main project. If it ever gets merged, but let's see. I will have to wait for Eric's input, which, as we know, can take a while to land. So, first thing is serialization support. This should include basic serialization to YAML and option handling to specify how we want it to look. For example, JSON style or JSON compatibility. White space, all these things, you want to be able to specify them. And that's really the first thing. Serialization should be simple. I don't think this will be a big issue, and it will help me to get started with Serd and to learn about it and to learn a bit more about YAML. Also, I'm quite happy to finally implement my own YAML parser, and also happy to not be the 10th person doing this, because it's actually the first guy who does it in Rust, so it's going to be the first one. And being the first one is always a good feeling to me, at least. This is something you have a lot in Rust, and you could say, well, I hate it to not have a standalone YAML serializer and deserializer right out of the box. But hey, still America, Wild West. You have to conquer the land and work a bit more. But it's cool, it's a good experience. How often in your life do you write a YAML parser without knowing that it's like something that nobody will ever use? If it's part of Serd, many people use it, and that's something I like very much. So then the next big thing is deserialization support. Parse YAML documents Yeah, translate them to native data structures. It's kind of stating the obvious here. Structures. Yeah, but sure, it's safe and fast with great error messages on Lexer parser level. So I really want, usually the YAML implementations I've seen so far, they are able to provide you with messages, but usually they're not very helpful. And I don't want that. The software I write should be user-friendly to the max, because that user is going to be me, and I hate software that is giving you shitty error messages. So the good thing is about Rust that it's not only going to be safe on a program level, it's not only going to be fast, but thanks to the way you handle errors, it's very easy, once you get your basic design right, that is, to produce very, very nice error messages. And look at the Rust compiler that does so as well. The Rust compiler is awesome when it comes to error messages. And it has to be awesome because, things are tough sometimes. Deserialization support, there we go. No deadline here. I have no idea how long that will take. So I guess it just takes as long as it takes. And that is that. Yeah. Let's go back to our issues. And yeah, this is kind of for the first milestone, serialization support. And there we go. Look. What am I saying? I didn't want to say look. I want to say, okay, let's go with serd. That's, usually I have the tendency to have an etc folder here. But I won't put this in just because it's not my project. So I just have this project set up here somewhere on my hard disk. Actually, it's right here. Good. So that is that. Linters, I think I want to disable this because it's too slow on such a big project. But besides that, we are good. And as you can see, I've made some preparation, at least. Some to the point where I have a checkout of the master. Let's see if anything happened there. Okay. Merge ff only origin master. There we go. Something happened. Lots of stuff happened. Actually, that's a bit dangerous. Usually stuff breaks if you don't use exactly the right version and stuff. So yeah, I'm not depending on the local version anymore. That's good. But I'm just saying. Let's try that. Oh, it's a new serd. Actually, I didn't know that. Good. And also what we want is to add our remote here, which is the next thing. Yeah. Oh, cargo build is done. Really? It is done. And it worked. Cool. So, git remote, add mine. And that's my serd now. There we go. And I guess, oops. I want to change the remote here, the tracking branch of, come on. It's weird that in some files I can't use backspace. I have to do it like this. So, remote is now mine, because it should track my master here. And that is that. Thank you very much. Good. Here we are. I think I don't have to push anything because I'm latest already. Git push mine master. So that is that. And now we can set up our basic infrastructure. We have 15 minutes in. I think it might take another 15 minutes to just also, it's like terrible weather outside. It rains. It's kind of dark. Looks like end of the world. But it's the arrival of Rust. It's the arrival of Rust. Why is there no sun? Oh, it's getting bigger. Now I get the joke, man. Now I get it. Yeah, it's arriving. It's very, very, very close. Oh my god. And the weather is matching. I would love to show it to you, but I can't. What's this? Oh man. I hate this. That's welcome to Germany, man. You can't watch stuff. Usually. So, anyway, here we are. And I just built the documentation that does it work by now? Open? Is it fixed? It's fixed. Yay! Nice. This was broken for a long time. Oh no, wait, it's not fixed. But it works for projects that do not have dashes in their name. That's when it works. Yeah. Fine. I could make a bug, but people have not been responding to my bug reports on Cargo anyway. People are busy doing everything else right now, so the bugs that are in there will just stay in there unless you fix them yourself, I guess. Good, so that's the latest version. I wanted to be sure I see the latest version of the documentation. I don't know if the latest is always online. And this is kind of the style we want, you know, I want it to be serde style. So here the documentation is actually quite good when it comes to how to do JSON stuff. And yeah, I think I will do the same. So let's make a new, is this the right one? JSON, yeah. So here we have dsер for the standard serialization and deserialization interfaces. And now we have a new module that is going to be YAML. I thought it always was yet another markup language, but it actually is. YAML ain't a markup language. All right. Then you are not. So here we go with a mod. Mod.rs. Is it in there now? I hope so. Yes, it is. Mod.rs. Boom. And here we can basically put together our stuff. And the first thing I want, oh look, error. Lots of error codes. That's very nice. I'll have the same. Totally. So I'm gonna, now I think the general design of this is good. I still have to learn about it. I can't say that I actually know it, but it's very similar to what I did in Google RS as well. So it's kind of the standard style, I guess. But hey, one thing after the other. So the first thing I would like to implement is serialization. And because I intend to take a somewhat brute force approach here, you know, I'm just going to dump stuff in. And serialization should be very simple. And, you know, I'm going to basically dump stuff in here, dump a lot of code, and then refactor it. Refactor a lot of it until it kind of reaches its final form and I kind of gain an understanding of what I really want there and how to implement it. Because right now, there are just many unknowns here. So it's a bit of a dangerous project. Risk management wise, just because lots of stuff is unknown to me. But on the other hand, I think I can handle it and kind of can take baby steps to fix this. Okay, so here in mod, yeah, I guess I want to put this here and be sure I kill these because I don't need them. So that's my one. And for now, I keep open the sidebar here, even though it takes away screen space. Apparently this still fits anyway. Just to be sure, I know it's a new project. I don't want to mess things up more than I need to. So here comes the documentation. Wait, here comes the documentation. And let's call it YAML serialization and deserialization. So that's kind of the documentation infrastructure. Can I learn this word now? Add, yeah. So cool. That's also a new feature in the latest Sublime text. YAML serialization and deserialization. What is YAML? I'm just, trying to follow the rules here. Basic infrastructure. After all, it's part of serde. It's supposed to be part of serde, so it should be very similar. Even though it's YAML, and even though it may be fixing some shortcomings of the JSON implementation in terms of configurability, customizability, so to speak. Yeah. So I don't want to repeat this. But you know, what is YAML to do? And I also know that there will be limitations. Deserialization, YAML serialization following, that's also clear. This spec here. Following YAML spec 1.2. Like that. And I think what we can do, I don't know if that works, but let's try YAML spec. That's style I really like. This makes it look so much better here. And I think this works if it's in a single continuous block of Markdown, then it will just be able to look these named links up. So limitations to do. Name the differences. Yeah. This paragraph contains the differences of the implementation with the compared to the requirements of the underlying YAML spec, YAML specification. And here comes the beauty of named Markdown links. Good. So whenever there is something that I do not support, even though I intend to do it, I will just name this here. No serialization support. So this kind of forces me to keep this up to date, right? Because right now we can't do anything. No deserialization support. There we go. Actually, yeah, we're totally useless right now. What is YAML? Okay, that's something I don't want to do now because it's kind of just a primer in YAML, I guess. Good. So that's kind of our first piece of documentation. Let's bring in let's try to make this work for us. Let's see, use sir. This is also new here, that a module is able to use itself in itself, you know, so that you can have the sir namespace here. And serializer. I also wonder, you know, for serializer, where is this guy coming in? I mean, that's a sir serializer here. That's all good. But where's the compact formatter, for instance, coming in? Here it is. But where's the... no, wait, no. This is the sir that it refers to. Now I get it. Yeah. Okay, that's the top level sir. Okay. So here we say, I guess, mod sir. And you want to... No, actually, that's not a pub. No. Let's have a look at JSON mod. And here, they basically pull everything in here. Yeah, that's how that works. And there, still pubmod sir and so on. Okay. So pubmod sir, there you go. And then we just import a few things once we know what we want to import. For now, there's nothing we want to import. And of course, the integration tests. So we will have unit tests, a lot of them, but I'm still, you know, having a great test suite is super important to us, and I will spend some time on doing that as well. Because I want to be able, benchmarks. Not for now. Here are the tests. Test JSON, test D. Yeah. What's test sir? Okay. So it's really just for the serialization. It doesn't include any JSON. That's good. So following this style, I think I can say test YAML. And I would like to split this up because I'm kind of split up in serialization and deserialization. I would like to do the same here. So I'm going to test YAML ser.s. Test for YAML serialization only. And yeah, I guess I'm going to have a lot of for simplicity, I can just dump my want data structures here, or the stuff that I